Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Opinionation, the King Daddy Show. I am coming to you today from my living room on my telephone. The reason for this is because I have a full studio here in the house that I am coming to you from my cell phone instead of my studio. Is because my wife is now working from home and she has commandeered the studio and set up her computer stuff for work in there so that she can close the door. And I totally understand because, she has no choice. She has to do her job and she still has to work. But nothing's changed. You're still going to get the show. It's not going to be the greatest audio quality like it usually is, but it's still going to be a good show. As a matter of fact, I've done about 3 on the phone, and most of you who listen probably couldn't even tell the difference. Pardon me for yawning, but a little sleepy today. But anyway, you can reach us at opinionation84@gmail.com. Opinionation84 at Twitter, and Opinionation84 at Instagram at any given time. So, today's episode is about this. I am finding myself a slight bit disturbed. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that I'm not doubting that we have a virus. And I realize that there are some naysayers out there who doubt the validity of the virus, that it even exists at all. But I am not doubting that because I worked in the healthcare field and I know people still who work in the hospital. And I know for a fact that there are sick people who are testing positive with COVID-19 in the hospital. So I do not doubt this at all. But here's the problem that I have. I quarantined myself in my house a couple of weeks ago to avoid sickness. But I still had the option at the time of kind of going and coming as I pleased. I could not go into a restaurant and sit down and eat a meal. But I could get some takeout at a drive-thru if I wanted to. I could run to the grocery store. And those things I can still do. I can go get my car worked on. Don't want to, don't need to. But those things are still able to be done. But here's the problem that I have. Now the governor has came forth and has decreed that it is mandatory. It's a key word here, that we shelter in place in our homes if we are considered non-essential workers. Well, I'm retired, so I don't fall into that category. However, when I was working, I would be at work, probably doing some 12 or 15-hour shifts at the hospital or in a medical facility somewhere. And I would have been considered essential. My wife is essential. Even though that they are sending them home to work from home, she's still considered essential and her job must go on. But there are so many people who work in restaurants and stores and all these different places that have been mandatorily closed by the government, that they are sitting at home now waiting on Congress to pass this legislation to send them a check. Now, it sounds good. If you think about that, from a simpleton standpoint, you get to sit home and they're going to send you some money. They're going to extend the unemployment benefits, which will give you more money. But here's the problem that I have, and let's go back again to the word mandatory. Should we allow should we allow the government to dictate our comings and goings? Now, nobody wants to get sick. Nobody wants to put anybody in jeopardy. And I believe that if you are a decent human being, that we could have chosen to make the right decisions and been careful for the people so that we wouldn't get them sick. You could work in a restaurant and wear a mask and gloves and probably be okay. Keep your tables disinfected with bleach water and be okay. But instead, we've allowed the government to come in here and close our businesses. People have businesses that they have ran for years, some of which, due to the economic troubles that have started in the last couple of weeks, may not ever open again, regardless of how much help they get from the government. Whether they want to call it a loan or a grant, there will be people who will not be bringing their unemployed, deferred workers back to work because their business that may have been barely hanging on to begin with is done. Should we have let it get that far? Now, I realize that they say that, distancing yourself 6 feet from other people, quarantining yourselves in your home, maintaining as little distance as possible from everyone is the safest road to making this happen. I may even be in a little agreement with the fact that they had to close the schools because that's a petri dish even when there's not a virus. Daycares and schools are petri dishes regardless of the situation because children, and I'm not ragging on children are just not clean. Children don't wash their hands like they should. They don't do the things that they need to. And they pass colds around like, it's just going out of style. And they're always bringing stuff home. You're always getting sick. If you bring your child home from daycare and he has snot running out of his nose, tomorrow you will. So I kind of get that. But let's go back to the adults here. Our liberties are at stake. Our freedom is at stake. Let me give you just a little scenario of what I saw today that disturbed me greatly. I went to the landfill to take my trash this morning. One of the only places that I can go besides the grocery store and a drive-thru. And I'm not going to let the garbage pile up and stink, nor am I going to sit it in the back of my pickup truck for the neighbor's cats and wild animals to get in. So I took my trash to the dump. As I pulled into the landfill parking lot, there's a giant sign hanging up on the gate that says, starting April 2nd, we will no longer be taking cash, debit or credit only. There's a lot of numbers and computers and technology involved in credit cards and bank cards, where cash, not so much. You can have a pocket full of money and literally go around and spend it and nobody has a numbers trail of anything. But you use a debit card or you use a bank card and there is somebody who has access to every single thing you do and every single place you go. So if you get rid of cash, you may as well be carrying a homing device in your pocket because they can find you wherever you use the card. How do you think the FBI tracks down most of its criminals when they steal things and go on the run? Is because one of them will make a mistake and use a stolen credit card. It pings, they grab them. So have we allowed the government, through the guise of this virus, to step in here and start taking our liberties away? Now, as we look at it at face value, it does not look that bad. But let's fast forward a little bit and just think about how many of these liberties that they may decide that they can't give us back because they're looking out for our, see the quotation marks in the air with my fingers in your mind, safety. We're going to lose liberties because they're looking out for our safety. They have decided that they know what's best for us. They know what we need to do, and they know how we need to do it because they, in their infinite 75-year-old government official wisdom, have decided that we are too fucking stupid to take care of ourselves, so they're going to take care of us for us. Sounds a little to me like socialism or communism is on the horizon. Now, I'm sure that there are people up there who are doing this because it legitimately sounds like they are taking care of the American public and they are doing it for all the right reasons. But I also know that there are those in the government who are chomping at the bit right now to find a way to use this somehow to remove these liberties from us so that we are in their control and we are in their grasp. And from now on, they lead us around by the ring in our nose like a bull. Because there are those up there who have proclaimed very loudly that this is what they want. I mean, they couldn't even come together and figure out a stimulus package for the people to be able to get a little security without arguing about the nuances of all the shit they wanted to put in the bill. And I still believe when we see the actual completed bill, there will be things in there that have nothing to do with the coronavirus or COVID-19 or whatever they're calling it today. There will be nothing in this bill other than a few basic things for the distribution of the money that will be in that bill that has anything to do with the virus or the taking care of American people. They are going to take care of their own agenda because right now they have the American people face down with a gag in their mouth to take complete advantage of everything they can take advantage of, and we are going to roll over and allow them to do this to us because they've taken our livelihoods away, and they're going to replace our livelihoods with extended benefits and a $1,200 stimulus check. And we're not looking at the big picture. We see the stimulus check, we see the benefits, we see the money, and we're going to allow them to do to us whatever they want to do because all we see is green. Because they have taken advantage of a population of people that are right now disturbingly hurting. And this, my friend, is kicking us when we're down. But they're doing it. They're doing it disguised as a great thing. Now, I like $1,200. I'm not going to lie. I like $1,200. Would like to have $1,200. But I can't unsee with my mind what I believe is really going on here. I can't unsee it. And again, I will reiterate, I believe the virus is real. I know the virus is real. It is an advantageous situation that they are now using to gain the control over the American people that they have always wanted to have. The virus is convenient, not fake, just convenient. Not convenient from the standpoint of somebody made up the virus and sprayed us with it, like I've also heard in some conspiracy theories. It's convenient in the whole coincidental time frame of it just happened to take place at exactly the right time with exactly the right people looking for something to get us with. And that's what they've done. Now, you may disagree with me, and again, I've said, if you disagree with me, you can contact me anytime you want to at opinionation84@gmail.com, and I will answer any question that you may have, and I will listen to any theory that you may have, and I will weigh it against my own theory. And if you make more sense than I do, I'll give you credit and rebut some of the things that I'm saying. But I also believe that I doubt that you can. Because even though what I'm saying may not be 100% accurate, it is surreal that this is taking place now. With all the talk of socialism in the news, a man who is an outright democratic socialist running for president. We have several outright socialists serving in the Congress and in the Senate. That you have to believe that there's a certain part of what I'm saying here that you may not believe it completely, but you know it makes so much sense that it's scary. It scares me to think about it. I don't like the fact sometimes that my mind works this way. But it does, because I'm a realist. I look at things from a standpoint of the good and the bad and how they weigh against each other. And even though I'm seeing a lot of good, I'm seeing a lot of bad that is tipping the scales at the same time the good is being distributed. Think about it. Let me know your comments, questions, and concerns. You can hit me up on Twitter. You can do it publicly, and I don't care. At Opinionation84, you can send it privately to the email box, and I will email you back. Just send that to opinionation84@gmail.com. Instagram, not so much. There's not really a lot to hit up on there. Send me a picture of your dog and tell me your opinion. Love dogs. But anyway, this is King Daddy signing off today for the Opinion Nation podcast. And y'all have a wonderful day.